and welcome to Our Promise Live. I am the Our Promise Senior Director, Tabitha Angel. I have a poppy background behind me with the Our Promise logo as well behind me. Blonde hair, blue-eyed, female. I'm so excited to be here today to introduce an admirable leader among State Department directors, and that is Joe Xavier, the Director of the California Department of Rehabilitation. Hi, Joe.
Hi, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm great. Good to see you as well. Well, we certainly know your passion for your work at DOR, but not everyone knows how you've been a longtime supporter of the Our Promise program. Your Department of Rehabilitation raised $42,371 through 196 donors last year. Can you tell us why you encourage state workers to participate in this workplace giving program?
Yeah, I'd certainly be glad to. So, I always start with a premise of just recognizing how fortunate and how privileged I am to live the life that I'm leading. And so one of the things that's a real driver for me, and frankly for all of our staff, is how do we support the communities that we serve across the country? How do we ensure individuals that need access to those services they otherwise may not have? Sometimes it's food, sometimes it's shelter, that they have that. And community-based organizations that are funded through Our Promise feel such an important gap and meet that need that I just described. So all of our staff contribute with that in mind, and frankly, own personal experiences that they bring to the work that we do every day.
Definitely. And I feel, especially in your department with Department of Rehabilitation and seeing all of those different things that help support the communities, where we work and where we live are really important. And like you mentioned, there are plenty of causes to support and everybody brings something different, to the workplace giving campaign, and all of these different nonprofits really need an extra boost after a challenging, a year and a half. In October, it is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. Are there nonprofit organizations that you recommend that support the employment of people with disabilities?
Yeah, thank you for asking about National Disability Employment Awareness Month. It's such an important commemoration. One, it celebrates and lifts up and provides visibility to the contributions of individuals with disabilities, such as myself and so many others that are in the workplace. But the importance of that is really driven by the fact that there's some 70% of individuals with disabilities who could work that are not working. And there are a number of organizations that certainly contribute to the employment of people with disabilities. There's the Association of California State Employees with Disabilities, who focus on state policy, providing opportunity for individuals to go to work as an example. But what's important to keep in mind is the intersectionality. So an individual with disability may have food insecurities, may have housing insecurities, and so many other needs. And so frankly, every organization in some fashion, because of the intersectionality of individuals with disability, does contribute to that. And for those of you that have representation of disability in your workforce, 2 thumbs up, thank you. And for those of you who don't, I encourage that. Brings great diversity to your workforce and great diversity and perspective to the work that you're doing.
Joe, that's a really, I'm kind of taken aback by what you just said about the intersectionality of, the different organizations and the different needs. I really haven't thought, in depth about that, being a little naive and thinking that, somebody has one disability, they may have a need in another area. And I think wow, that's really important to touch on. And, that usually if somebody's in need of one part of their life, they're in need of a different part. So that's really important to touch on and talk about, and how all of these different nonprofit organizations come together to help one individual. Wow, that was really important to touch on and talk about. And why it's so important that these nonprofits survive and that, they need our donations now more than ever. And I think there are a lot more people out there that are needing these types of resources and programs and services, and how important donations are to these nonprofits to be able to provide these different types of resources, whether, that's for, employees who have disabilities, or whether that's just our, people in the workforce or our communities and where we work and where we live, whether that's the environmental causes that are out there, if, pets or whatever it may be, health and human services, there's a lot out there. So a lot of significant organizations, but, talking about that intersectionality that's super important for people to recognize.
Yeah, thank you. I think that one of the things that's really important for all of us to just keep in mind, one is, of course, the times we've been through with COVID and how that just really exposed so many gaps that existed and accelerated some of the other things that we see these days, the inequities in health as an example, inequities in employment. But when we look at the whole person in a person-centered way, it essentially says that all of us collectively play a role with supporting an individual, with supporting a family, to getting to that better opportunity in life, that better circumstances in life. And the campaign, started many decades ago, really provides every state employee with the opportunity to contribute, where their heart lives, things that are of interest and importance to them. There is a method of a vehicle for donating to that cause, to that benefit. So we just encourage certainly all of our staff and all state employees to contribute in the way that they can and to those that they choose to.
You really are saying some really great things there, but like the exposure alone and what the pandemic and how that exposed, the gaps, I feel that's a really important piece to note, that I feel like people just, there's a lot of things came up out of the pandemic and a lot of gaps that people needed to be filled that weren't being filled. And people are needing resources that I think they never thought they would need. But now that has been exposed, like you have mentioned. And that's what I've been really trying to, fundraise and promote is the need and the exposure of the gaps, and where people are having to step in ways that they never had to step up before because of the pandemic. And I think that's really important to note. And, like you said, this is really just an avenue, and it's just a way for people, an easy way for people to give back, state employees, especially. The whole reason it was written in the state legislature back in 1957 was they wanted employees, every single employee, the opportunity to be able to give back to any nonprofit of their choice. So there's not just one list or one booklet out there that employees can choose from. And really it's from the heart and from where you would like to, give back to. And that could be one organization, or maybe that's 5 different organizations that you are really passionate about and want to be able to give back to. You've said some really great things here today, but what advice would you give to other state departments or agencies about getting involved in this campaign and, the importance of it?
Just first of all, I want to say thank you to all of my state colleagues from wherever they are in their respective roles for the leadership that they've shown and they have provided in these very difficult times. And I just ask you during this opportunity to contribute through the campaign, your voice, your leadership, your words of support matter so much, not only to your staff, our colleagues, but to those who are in need of those services. And so just first of all, thank you again for what you're doing. And to the extent that you have the opportunity to give visibility and voice and your leadership to supporting the campaign, just ask you to do so. I'm always mindful that while I am so privileged and have had the opportunities that I do, I too am one step away at any given time from needing and hoping to have access to the services that our Promise campaign funds across all of the organizations. So thank you for what you do, and we hope to hear your voice contribute to the support of the campaign.
Great. Thank you so much, Joe. Finally, is there anything you'd like us to know about Department of Rehabilitation that maybe some people don't know, maybe a fun fact, or, I feel like you guys do so many different things, as many state departments do, but, anything about DOR and our Promise that you would like to point out?
Well, as you mentioned earlier, we raised over $42,000, and we look to, again, challenge that benchmark this year. But more importantly, specifically to our department in terms of the work we do, you need talent to do the great work that each of you do. And our department has some of the most amazing, talented individuals that we are preparing for the workforce. We welcome engaging with you, or you can provide the opportunity for those individuals to become employed. We know employment is a pathway out of poverty. We know employment is a pillar of good health. And we know that individuals that are employed enjoy better health, and have lower health costs overall. So join us in leveraging the talent, the potential of individuals with disabilities. They bring tremendous asset to your workplace.
Wow, Joe, that's just, I want to take down all the things you're saying and put them into quotes because they're so good. And being, technically I'm a nonprofit employee. I work for United Way, California Capital Region, and you talking about employment being a path out of poverty, it just whoa, got my heart really good right there. And just the things you're saying and how important it is. And, having, employees with disabilities such an asset. I think that's really, people need to know that and how important it is, and all the opportunities that are out there is really truly fantastic. And the work that your department is doing is truly a great asset to our community and to our state. So we are really, really grateful for all the work that you and your staff are doing. And I'm really grateful for you and your staff and all the support we've received over the years for this campaign. I think that your staff really understands the importance of the campaign and how it directly correlates with the services and the nonprofits that are out there providing these resources, et cetera, out to people with disabilities. So we really, really are grateful for you and your staff.
Yeah. And if I could just say, just thank you to you, and thank you to your team for stepping up, giving of your time, leading the campaign. It is work that is very appreciated and certainly very needed. So just want to take a moment to say thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Sometimes it's a thankless job, so I'm grateful for those words and very appreciative of those words. So thank you so much, Joe. But now we're going to do something a little fun.
Okay.
So we're going to draw a name for our prize drawing. So we're going to wait for the virtual wheel. This virtual wheel is going to pop up here, and we're going to give it a spin, and we're going to see what name pops up. So people are able to enter their name and their favorite nonprofit into the drawing.
Okay.
So it looks like we have a winner, and that is Susie Aceron, and she is with the Department of Fair Employment and Housing. So we will be in touch soon, Susie, with you, but for everyone else, you'll have another chance next week to go ahead and enter that prize drawing. But you only need to enter in once if you want. You get multiple chances to win. Again, everybody, thanks so much for joining. Thank you, Joe. We are so grateful for you and appreciate it so much. If anyone that's watching would like to learn more about the Our Promise campaign this year, please be sure to check out our website at ourpromiseca.org. Be sure to join us next week, and you can invite your favorite nonprofit to join us as well, and we'll be talking about nonprofit certification. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.